Coming up on Confidential, WrestleMania, the legend begins.
I thought it was crazy. I thought that it was the craziest idea that I'd ever heard.
And a WrestleMania grudge match intensifies.
It's an opportunity for me to vent my feelings in actually a socially acceptable way, as opposed to doing it on the street.
Hi again, I'm Gene Okerlund, and this is WWE Confidential. Well, it's been quite a week here at the WWE. WrestleMania is just 8 days away, and the testosterone level is already off the charts. Personally, I was thrilled to be in the ring on SmackDown with the Hulkster after all these years. But what transpired after between Hulk and Mr. McMahon, well, let's just say I could have lived without that. Like I said, it's been quite a week, and it all seemed to get heated up at the WrestleMania press conference this past Tuesday. We'll have more on that a little bit later on. First up tonight, WrestleMania. It started out as an ambitious idea and has since become a permanent part of American culture. This ambitious experience of putting sports entertainment on center stage for a single night has since turned into an annual worldwide event. This year, more than 55,000 fans will pack Safeco Field in Seattle, and millions more around the world will have the opportunity to bear witness to this year's grand spectacular on pay-per-view. It's hard to believe it's already been 19 years, and I know I'm not alone in saying no one could have imagined just how big WrestleMania would become when it all started back on March 31st in 1985.
The first WrestleMania suggestion was done in Stamford, Connecticut, and it was in a meeting with George Scott and Vince McMahon, and when the suggestion came up, I was totally in awe and shock of the suggestion. A year before, another promotion had tried something similar to WrestleMania and really didn't get it off the ground. But with Vince's power team behind him and the New York stroke behind him, I kind of figured that, hey, this man can pull something like this off.
I didn't work here when WrestleMania was first created. When I first heard the idea of WrestleMania, I thought it was crazy. And I thought that it was the craziest idea that I'd ever heard. I felt it was horrible for the business. Didn't like any aspect of it. I did not like mixing actors with wrestlers. I felt that there were two different arenas, that actors needed to stay out of our arena and wrestlers needed to stay out of the acting arena.
I didn't have any doubts about the principle, WrestleMania principle, how it was going to be done. Of course, you always have doubts. You know, closed circuit TV at that time was big in boxing. Nobody had ever tried it in anything else. And, you know, getting all the venues together and getting, you know, the production together. Those things kind of in the back of your mind, wow, is all this going to fall together at one time, at one location, and then beam throughout the world? How can this happen like this?
I hated the idea, but I paid to see it on closed circuit television for WrestleMania 1.
Welcome to the greatest sports entertainment spectacular of all time. Welcome to WrestleMania.
I remember I was at a closed circuit venue, promoting the venue, and in Miami, Florida, and I saw 15,000 people come into a venue to watch WrestleMania 1 on a TV screen. It amazed me, and from that moment on, it was just like a giant snowball coming down a mountainside, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to what we have now.
Welcome, everyone. Gorilla Monsoon here at ringside with my colleague Jesse the Body Ventura as the World Wrestling Federation presents the wrestling extravaganza of all time, WrestleMania.
As the weeks came, you could feel the energy all over the world, all over the country. People were talking about it. And this man was right. He produced something no one else had ever thought of. Oh, sure, there's a bunch of promoters that will say, oh, I had that idea. Well, then why didn't you do it? And why are you running in some high school barn someplace in Tupelo, Mississippi? I mean, he went right to the garden. Boy, when they came out, Billy Martin and the Rockettes and Liberace and the dancing and the kicking and the introductions and when Mr. T came out, I said to myself, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I went up to Vince that night. I had a beer and I said, here's to WrestleMania 2. He said, what do you mean WrestleMania 2? Here's to WrestleMania 102. And that's how it started.
Ladies and gentlemen, in just a few moments, we will have our main event.
WrestleMania 1 was the best highlight for me, to knowing that you're amongst great people in the world. To have, Mr. T there, and of course Muhammad Ali was there, and then you got, the rest of us that was all out there, and Hulk Hogan, and Piper, and myself, and Cowboy, and WrestleMania, brother, was the greatest highlight for me, knowing that I was involved in it with all these guys there. That feeling will never ever probably be duplicated again, because that's one day that started it all.
When we return, WrestleMania brings out the best in HBK.
I made a point to go out there and try to be the very best in this business. Going an hour was at WrestleMania main event is a little nerve-wracking in and of itself, and then to do this entrance was just on top of that. So it was a little distracting, to say the least. But once I got up there, I guess the idea that I had to wrestle an hour took my mind off of the fact that I was standing who knows how high. And I did it once that day. And of course, Vince came to me and said, I've done it. I wouldn't, and that's what I love about him. He's never asked me to do anything that he himself would not do or endure. So, and he wrote it, and then I did it. And they asked if I wanted to do it again. I said, no, one's enough. It happened fairly quickly, and it was, enjoyable.
There's only one Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Oh, no, look at that. Unbelievable, what a ride.
Shawn Michaels' spectacular entrance at WrestleMania 12 was just one of the Heartbreak Kid shining moments at the Grand Showcase. It has often been said that no matter how an athlete performs during the regular season, he is judged for better or worse by his performance in the big games, at crunch time, if you will. Make no mistake about it, WrestleMania is like the World Series and March Madness all in one. And it could be argued that no one has ever outperformed Shawn Michaels at any big event, especially a WrestleMania.
It's the biggest show in our business.
Welcome to WrestleMania.
At that point at WrestleMania, everything is real.
It don't get no bigger than this. This is what our business is all about.
When I was younger, it was about going in there and just putting on the best performance that I had.
Shawn Michaels pulling out all the stops here. He don't care about size. He's just full of fire.
And then at later stages, it became about proving something.
Someday we'll be wearing the gold. This man's a star of the 90s, Monsoon.
And so I made a point to go out there and try to be the very best in this business, especially at WrestleMania.
Nobody has ever outperformed Shawn Michaels in a big match situation.
first WWE title at a WrestleMania is as good as you can ask for. It is a combination of everything that's the biggest, the World Championship and WrestleMania. You cannot reach any higher plateau than that.
Look at that cover. 1, 2, yeah! The boyhood dream has come true for Shawn Michaels.
My last one, WrestleMania 14, was about getting through it.
I think Shawn is hurt. I think he's hurt bad. This whole match is a testament to Michaels' intestinal fortitude. And Shawn Michaels, there we go. My God, can you believe this man?
I think my legacy will be that you can't just pin it on one. I hope. I hope it will be, you know, Shawn Michaels' WrestleMania legacy will be WrestleManias.
When we return, the attraction that is WrestleMania.
People want to be a part of WrestleMania. A lot of people seek WrestleMania out because they know it's a big event.
And now, the WWE WrestleMania moment is brought to you by Snickers Cruncher. Looking for a satisfying crunch? Grab a Snickers Cruncher.
I'm here with the Intercontinental Champion.
Actually, Jenny, it's the People's Intercontinental Champ.
Excuse me. The People's Intercontinental Champion, The Rock. Now, Rock, the people want to know if you were the leader of this country, how would you run things?
Well, first and foremost, as long as all the Rock's fans across the country realized that The Rock is the judge and the jury, everything should be fine. And actually, Jenny, after The Rock contemplated that for a second, if The Rock were the jury, The Rock feels like this. 9 times out of 10, he'd be a hung jury if you smell what I'm cooking.
Would you run the White House?
Rock feels like this. As long as all the interns in the White House beneath The Rock knew their damn role and they didn't get out of hand, step out of line, and they didn't do anything orally wrong, excuse me, Jenny, morally wrong, then The Rock wouldn't have to do what he does best, and that's laid a smackdown in a major way. Thank you very much, Jenny.
And a catchphrase was born. If you can smell what I'm cooking. For 19 years, celebrities have continued to play a prominent role at WrestleMania. Muhammad Ali, Liberace, Ray Charles, Cyndi Lauper, Aretha Franklin, Ozzy Osbourne, and Run DMC are just a few of the many stars that have basked in the WrestleMania spotlight. This year, Limp Bizkit will headline yet another outstanding cast of mainstream artists performing at WrestleMania 19. No question, Fred Durst is pretty cool, but my personal all-time favorite was and still is Baywatch beauty Pamela Anderson. Now, she's what I call a main event.
I think at first, when WrestleMania first started, the sport of pro wrestling as an entertainment form was so considered the redheaded stepchild of the entertainment business, and no one really took it seriously. It was considered to be just for like trailer park people and rednecks. But I think the celebrities kind of brought a lot of mainstream publicity and brought kind of the overall media into realizing that wrestling was the premier form of entertainment.
There's such a huge crossover between World Wrestling Entertainment and other fields of entertainment, music, television, movies.
People want to be a part of WrestleMania. I mean, I don't know that it's really a situation where we have to seek them out. A lot of people, I think, seek WrestleMania out because they know it's a big event.
I think their presence meant a lot, but I can guarantee you that their agent said to them, hey, WrestleMania / how many millions of viewers, it's good for you. You know, it's a good deal. I mean, I think a lot of people have tied themselves to wrestling because it's a very popular entity. I mean, it's a very popular business or sport, whatever we are.
And I think that kind of helped break through the wall where it's like, well, gee, if Liberace's out there and if Pamela Anderson and Jenny McCarthy are out there, or Muhammad Ali's involved, maybe it's something I should check out and see what it's all about.
It also brings a certain elegance to it. People like to see celebrities much the same as, I don't think any different than when you go to a Laker game. You know, you go to the Laker game, you see Jack Nicholson there all the time. You see Diane Cannon there. You go to a Clipper game, Billy Crystal's always there. So I think that it gives people a certain sense that they're in the mainstream.
I was probably like most of the wrestlers that didn't think it was right to have Liberace, Billy Martin, Muhammad Ali, the Rockettes, all that involved. This was wrestling. Mr. T, he's a television guy. He's a bouncer from a bar in Chicago. He's got an old cedar hairdo. He wears 50 pounds of fake jewelry. He got gumball machines. And he's going to be in the main event with Hulk Hogan against Roddy Piper and Orndorff.
Never in my wildest imagination did I think a Cyndi Lauper or Muhammad Ali, a Liberace would outshine the superstars that we had at that time.
All that the celebrities did, they did exactly what they were meant to do. They brought in outside people and outside eyeballs to see the talent that the athletes had.
Right now, it is my very dear pleasure to introduce to you my favorite celebrity at WrestleMania was Willie Nelson. I got to hang out with him the night before WrestleMania. He sang Angel Flying Too Close to the Ground, just right there. No music, no anything, and it was pretty cool.
That hard, but I'll do my best.
With champagne wishes and caviar dreams, may the best man win.
I do remember trying to get in Reba McEntire's dressing room. She said, "Ooh, Nature Boy, Space Mountain, I'm not ready tonight. Woo! You better play this on Confidential now. It's no be mad if you don't. Reba, it's the Nature Boy calling again. Woo!"
I have to admit, I enjoyed the Pete Rose contributions with Kane.
I was a big Pete Rose fan growing up, so it was really cool to meet him. It was cool to see him get tombstone year after year after year.
Lawrence Taylor, without a doubt, was a joy to be with and to be around because, again, he was someone who respected our business and had a lot of fun doing what he did.
I never will forget Pat Patterson training him in Stanford. Pat coming to me one night and said, "This guy's a horse. This guy's a great athlete." And he lived up to the billing.
Celebrities, I think it adds to the mystique and magnitude of WrestleMania, but still it comes down to the performers at WrestleMania, and that's the wrestlers, superstars.
Up next, the hype has begun for WrestleMania 19.
I think the biggest thing that happened at the press conference today were the obvious comments from Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon. It's a 20-year history, one that I'm baffled by today.
WrestleMania is what you work hard for all year long. It's where you carve your name in this company. If you don't do it at WrestleMania, it doesn't get done. Anyone that's ever made it, The Undertaker, Rock, Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, all had important moments at WrestleMania. First WrestleMania I saw was Hogan versus Andre.
The irresistible force meeting the immovable object.
Of course, me being the bigger kid, I was a Giant fan. Fan of Andre. Little I know how the progression of time and where it would lead me. Standing in the ring at my first main event, WrestleMania, just the adrenaline, the excitement at the beginning of that match for me, knowing it's the main event at WrestleMania, it was like nothing I can describe. That moment I'll never forget.
Snickers Cruncher presents WWE WrestleMania 19. Coming to you live next Sunday, March 30th from Safeco Field in Seattle, Washington. Looking for a satisfying crunch? Grab a Snickers Cruncher. And you're listening to the theme song for WrestleMania 19 by Limp Bizkit, who will be performing live at WrestleMania 19.
When you think WrestleMania press conference, you know it's not going to be your standard, everyday, boring sports press conference. Not by a long shot. I think everyone remembers the WrestleMania 11 press conference. That's when NFL Hall of Famer Lawrence Taylor got in the face of Bam Bam Bigelow. That kind of set a standard. And it was soon topped by WrestleMania 14. If you will recall, boxing's bad boy, Iron Mike Tyson, got between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels in that one. Hey, at least no one got a bite taken out of them in the exchange. And that brings me to this year's press conference. This past Tuesday, New York City, the ESPN Zone, and the match that has been 20 years in the making. Hulk Hogan taking on a man who has been at times his friend, but mostly his chief adversary for nearly 2 decades, one Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
World Wrestling Entertainment is here at the ESPN Zone. We're here for a press conference promoting WrestleMania 19, March 30th in Seattle.
It's exciting because there's so much energy. I mean, not only, for the performers, but the media is excited about it. Obviously, the fans are excited about it.
Now, obviously, WrestleMania is the biggest pay-per-view event of the year, and as always, we have special guests, and this year is no different. Please welcome the Miller Lite Catfight Girls, Katana and Tanya.
The Miller Lite Catfight Girls. I mean, this is going to be fun. Who knows if, they're going to get into it. We're just going to have to wait and see.
WrestleMania is it. It showcases all the best talent in the WWE. Every match you see is a main event match.
If you are in this business, you breathe every breath of your career with the goal to get to WrestleMania. It's indescribable.
WrestleMania is the defining event, in my opinion, in this industry. And, to be a part of it really defines this new relationship I have with WWE.
I'm extremely happy to be back here, right here, talking about WrestleMania 19, because I definitely didn't think I'd be a part of it. I was gone for 7 or 8 months from WWE, kind of took a little hiatus. A lot of creative problems, a lot of personal problems. Everything piled up on me, and it was time to exit. So here I am back, and I'm extremely happy to be a part of WrestleMania 19.
WrestleMania has a very special place in my heart. And every year, to be a part of WrestleMania, to have the honor and the privilege to be either behind the scenes or in front of the camera, it is truly an honor.
Each WrestleMania has its own personality, and this one certainly has a total different kind of personality. The level of athleticism, at this year's WrestleMania is really off the chart.
At WrestleMania, Booker T and I will blow the roof off of Safeco Field. Guaranteed, we will put on a performance like no one else.
But just getting there to me is not something I'm satisfied with. And to complete the saga, I gotta win.
Rock, and anything that he does, he's driven to be the best. And the same goes for me. And whatever I do not like to be second best. I want to be the best at what I do. I give him credit for everything he's done in Hollywood, but when it comes time to getting in the ring, Stone Cold Steve Austin is always the better man, and that's pretty much the bottom line on that deal. Without a doubt, bar none, no Stone Cold, no Hulkamania, no Rock, no Triple H. Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle are the 2 best athletes here. And when it comes down to it, you're going to see the very best athlete come out on top. And to him and I, it's personal.
As a young amateur wrestler, I got to watch Kurt become an Olympic gold medalist. And that's something that I wanted to do. At WrestleMania 19, Kurt Angle, I guarantee you one thing. I'm going to bring the pain.
I think the biggest thing that happened at the press conference today were the obvious comments from Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon. It's a 20-year history, one that I'm baffled by today.
What you saw up there with the tension with Hogan and myself is very real. There's always been tension, and it's going to manifest itself. I'm going to have fun, in our match, because it's an opportunity for me to vent my feelings from a physical standpoint in actually a socially acceptable way, as opposed to doing it on the street.
Vince is like this monument. He's like a Mount Rushmore. He's always got the game going. He's always got his face on. He doesn't deviate from the norm, from being strong. Today, I saw something in him I've never seen before. He's not so sure what he's got himself into.
And I'm just anxious to see what's going to happen in the ring at WrestleMania.
When you return, an unforgettable match at an unforgettable event.
WrestleMania 3 today, to me, is still the greatest WrestleMania of all time. We outdrew the Rolling Stones. We outdrew the Pope.
WrestleMania is the coup de grace. It's just the epitome of where you want to be. If you are a pro wrestler, your main goal is to get a shot at WrestleMania.
There's little 150-pound Spike Dudley.
The run to the Dudley letter has made an impact.
You have 100,000 people live. You've got millions watching worldwide. It is the show.
WrestleMania 2, what the world has come to.
My first WrestleMania, I didn't get to see the first one because I didn't have access to cable television or anything, was WrestleMania 2. And it was Hulk Hogan versus King Kong Bundy. It was Andre the Giant in a Battle Royal match. Roddy Piper versus Mr. T.
It's not my idea to be talking right before a big fight. I don't like to do a lot of talking. My fist's gonna do the talking in the ring.
And it was awesome. It was everything that I had hoped it would be. Just everything lived up to the hype, and it was a wrestling fan's dream come true. And when it was over, you said, I can't wait for WrestleMania 2 or 3 or 4, whatever. You're just looking forward to the next one.
There are certain occasions that seem to live forever in time. They're like a perpetual snapshot capturing a perfect moment. The kind of moment where everyone can remember where they were when it happened. Case in point, March the 29th of 1987. WrestleMania 3, the Pontiac Silverdome, and a record-breaking crowd of 93,173. On that day, it seemed as if the earth stood still, at least for a moment, because that's when Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant faced off in a battle of legends.
I remember the first time hearing that WrestleMania 3 was going to take place at Pontiac Silverdome, and I thought that Vince McMahon had lost his mind.
We're going to hold it where, and we're going to have how many people? You got to be kidding me. And wow, and just coming up to the Pontiac Silverdome, people had been camped out there for 2 or 3 days at a time, and I've been to a couple of Super Bowls, and believe me, I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Welcome to WrestleMania 3!
We'd had WrestleManias, but this one took it to another level.
The significance of Hulk versus Andre, that was Ali versus Frazier. That was the match. They were two larger-than-life characters.
It represented the first ever real mega event, and it represented what the caliber of a WrestleMania main event is supposed to be. You had Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, and it was the two biggest forces that there was at the time in sports entertainment. And it's like you can't see either one of them, losing.
I think it was a lot of curiosity. Can Hulk Hogan slam this 500-pound monster? Can Hulk Hogan even move this 500-pound monster? And I think the mainstream press caught on to this so big time. Here's this blonde-headed sun god that's just built like who knows what. And at that time, there weren't a lot of guys like Hulk Hogan in the business. And there definitely wasn't a lot of guys like Andre the Giant. And for these two colossal men to meet in the center of the ring, in the same match, in the same building, once again, it was Goosebump City.
This is the main event of the evening. It is for the World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Championship.
What went through my mind coming out on those carts in front of 93,000 people, it never hit me. There are 93,000 people here. You know what hit me? There are billions at home watching. That's what really got me. Because I've been to sold-out arenas before. Never anything close to 93,000. Never anything close to probably 40,000. But my God, I was thinking of the television audience. What is happening here today? I'm in the main event. I'm part of history. Wow, it was something.
The roof of the Silverdome about to explode here. And Hulkamania, look at it, Jess. It's alive and running well.
You got 93,173 fans standing on their feet for this one, Gorilla.
WrestleMania 3 today, to me, is still the greatest WrestleMania of all time. We outdrew the Rolling Stones. We outdrew the Pope, who came later that year and held free mass in the Silver Dome.
Took two, and I think probably at that time, the two biggest stars in the industry, because Andre was worldwide at that time, world known, as was Hulk, and Hulkamania was on fire, and I think that they're, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the two biggest personalities in our sport. It's just a huge promotion built around two huge stars.
Look at the stare of the champion against the challenger. The irresistible force meeting the immovable object.
A moment in that match was when Hulk Hogan first went to slam Andre, and Andre fell on top of Hogan for the 1, 2 1/2, and 3/4, that you just knew right then and there that Andre had just become champion.
He collapsed. 1, 2. 2 count only.
Was that 2 or was that 3?
2 count only.
And it was just such a huge, like, how can Hulk beat Andre the Giant? You know, you kind of knew that he was going to win, but you didn't really know for sure.
He's a tremendous champion, but he's facing a man who has never been beaten in 15 years.
Hulk fighting with every ounce of courage in him. And the champion unloading with everything he's got.
Oh, he dropped
the big guy.
That's the first time I think that the Giant's ever been knocked off his feet like that.
Look at the look on the face of the champion. He's hulking up, Jess.
I don't know if he's got enough left in him.
That adrenaline can do wonders. Look at this. He's
landed it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Hulk dropping a big leg. Over for the cover.
He got it. Unbelievable.
At WrestleMania 3, Hulk Hogan and Hulkamania, that was the stamp. That was the day that Hulkamania became immortal in my eyes.
I never thought it could be done, Gorilla.
Even in these 93,000 plus.
I've always believed that the business was much bigger than people ever gave it credit for. And it was a very, very proud day for anyone associated with the business in any way, shape, or form, whether you worked here or not. You had to be proud of that day for the business.
If you got a competitive bone in your body and you didn't get goosebumps, you had no blood in you, because it was just bone chilling.
I think that made WrestleMania from that point on have to be just, not just bigger than the other pay-per-views, but just a lot bigger. I don't know any way to describe it.
Up next, Big Show's ready for Hollywood. But is Hollywood ready for him?
We may have to get him lower than a chair.
Because I'm so tall, my head doesn't fit in the square to shoot it.
It's a great honor to be involved with WrestleMania. It's something that every wrestler looks forward to. It's a chance to be able to go out there and say, I am one of the best at what I do. I remember my first WrestleMania, obviously, growing up as a kid, watching Hulk Hogan, Mr. T, Piper, Orndorff in the main event, and all the other great matches that went on that night. All the WrestleManias were memorable for me as a kid.
The following contest is the Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 2.
My favorite WrestleMania moment, it was at WrestleMania 17 when the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian competed in Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 2. Walking out into the Astrodome and just taking that extra 5 seconds to stop and smell the roses. Just to look out there and see 68,000 people, that to me was my favorite WrestleMania moment.
Welcome back to Confidential. This portion of the program is brought to you by Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Now available in Stacker 2 Ephedra Free and Stacker 2 Light. And by 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls. It's free for you and cheap for them.
If the Hollywood stars can't make it to the action at WrestleMania, then the WWE superstars will bring the action to Hollywood. Squares, that is. The Big Show is no stranger to the bright lights of Tinseltown. As a matter of fact, Hollywood Squares executive producer Henry Winkler, yes, that Henry Winkler, the Fonz from Happy Days, worked with the Big Show on the film The Waterboy. Well, The Fonz knows talent when he sees it. So who better to join the all-star cast on Hollywood Squares on WrestleMania week than the largest man in all of sports or entertainment, The Big Show.
Here we are, CBS television studios. We're filming Hollywood Squares. Can't beat that today. I hope I'm funny. I hope somebody picks my square. I'm just trying to fit in and keep my head in the square. Everybody can see me. Oh, look, I'm in the middle.
You're in the middle.
Big Show. Is my head going to be able to be seen?
You may have to get him lower than a chair. Oh, let me see something here. Maybe we can work this. See, try this. How's that look? Still tall.
Because I'm so tall, my head doesn't fit in the square to shoot it. So instead of getting a nice, comfortable chair, I'm probably gonna have to sit on like a box or something. Hey, they got great bagels though. Definitely try to make the audience have a good time, the contestants have a good time, and even the guests in the squares have a good time.
Big Show.
How you doing?
He fits in the box. Yeah. I can feel the top of his head on the bottom of the head.
I had a great time with celebrities. You know, I think my biggest interaction was with Mama. She put me in line. Somebody please help me. She's knocking something over my ears.
All right, get up. You better be nice to me.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Good Lord, he weighs a lot.
My highlight today was seeing Henry Winkler again.
He's one of the biggest men I've ever met, I think, in my entire life. You know, we did a movie together. We did Waterboy together.
At the premiere of Waterboy, Henry Winkler was so nice to me and got me around the premiere and made sure all the press took pictures of me. It just goes to show that he's why he's, you know, like the nicest guy in Hollywood.
So here he is on Hollywood Squares, and he was funny. No one knew he could be that funny. It was just unbelievable. We're very happy he came.
This is The Big Show. We're at 8 Squared, and we had a rocking good time, so stay tuned. Catch us on the program.
Be sure to catch The Big Show on Hollywood Squares all week, starting this Monday. Check your local listing. Next week, the WrestleMania countdown continues. Joining us will be a man who knows Hulk Hogan better than anyone else on this planet. The Hulkster's longtime friend and manager, the legendary Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. Jimmy will share his very candid comments concerning both Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon right here next week, the night before WrestleMania. You will not want to miss that. And I would also like to remind you to be sure and tune in to TNN tomorrow night to see WrestleMania Third Degree live at 9 p.m. Eastern. It seems like everyone, including Jesse Ventura, Fred Durst, and Bob Costas, is weighing in on the Hogan-McMahon matchup. It should be sensational. Well, folks, that's all for this week. Remember, if you see and hear it here, it's confidential.